And I think I am live. And I think I am live. All right, there's going to be some echo because I was checking the actual stream and forgot to mute it. All right, so I'm just going to give it a few minutes and see if anybody pops in. Okay, sorry for the pause. This is my first time using StreamYard, so I'm just trying to get everything, make sure everything is coming through. So if you can hear me okay, would you just leave a comment and say that you can hear me? Okay, so I am just going to go ahead and just start talking, and if people roll in, we can have some conversation. So, hey everybody, I'm going to try to edit out that first couple of minutes of just like silence and me figuring things out. I've never done a live before, so hopefully I will be able to edit that out. But if you are still hearing me say this right now, then chances are I didn't edit it out. So anyway. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Harmonious Path with Jen. So thank you everybody who is here and is showing up. And I know some people will probably be a little late, and it's my first live. Hi Brianne, love, welcome. It's so good to have you here. So there is a little bit of a lag between me and then what's actually streaming on YouTube. So I think there's probably a little lag on the comments as well. So today I wanted to just kind of talk about, just self-love, self-care in general, start getting a, oh, hi. Let's see if I click a comment, it comes up. Okay. Okay, sorry. Comments, streaming, I will get the hang of this. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of have a chat about self-love, self-care, and what I have learned throughout the month. So I'll start with talking about what I have learned about my challenge that I gave myself of 3 things that I love about myself every day. And when I first did the math of 3 times 28, and that is, I think, 84. I'm not so good at the maths. But either way, it is quite a lot of things to have to think about. And it became hard sooner than I expected it to, which kind of just goes to show how far I still have to go on my self-love journey and like really learning to love myself. So, but I did do it. There were a few days I missed here and there, but for the most part, I have put 3 things on Instagram every day. And I know there's still about 4 days left, and I will continue doing that until the 28th. So if anybody wants to share, what do you love about yourself? Leave a comment, and I'd love to hear what other people love. Some of the things that I've come up with was, some a little more superficial things like my eyes, my creativity with makeup. It's just, if you see me on the street, I will be totally barefaced. Like I love playing with makeup. It's just a creative thing for me, but I'm not going to get up in the morning and mess with it. So some more superficial things like that. My creativity in my planner. I love decorating my planner. I've got a couple videos about that. And then some deeper things about my ability to make people comfortable. I did a online workshop with the Peaceful Project, which is a kind of sister company of my coaching company that I got my training through. And people just were really open. I was, it was the first time I'd done anything like that, but even, the facilitator afterwards said, "You're really good at just putting people at ease," because everybody was pretty open about talking and sharing their personal experiences. Um, Hannah, you love how adaptable you are to new situations. I can absolutely yes, Hannah is my sister, and she is a travel ICU nurse right now, and that has definitely been some extremely new and quick changing situations. So thank you for sharing that, Hannah. Um, let's see, remembering my train of thought. Things that I love about myself. Yeah, I was talking about the workshop, and then I just this week, just a couple days ago, I had an kind of a realization of, well, what have other people told me that they love about me? And is that something that I can love about myself? And that kind of, I won't say it opened the floodgates, but it definitely jiggled my brain loose a little bit and made it a little easier to think of things that I love about myself. People have told me they love the mischievous sparkle when I'm up to no good in my eyes, or um, my ability to plan and keep things really on track with like projects at work. And so, I've got 4 more days. I think I'm looking at my planner, 5 more days if you count today, to come up with 3 things that I love. So I've got 15 more things to think of. Um, so I've also kind of been doing a lot of shadow work this month that I wasn't initially planning on doing. But as I have been trying to do, if you've seen any of my other videos, I've been trying to do a morning routine. So I'm doing 30-day challenges for myself every month this year. And I started with getting a nightly routine really kind of solidified for myself. And that went fairly well. And then I started with the morning routine, which has been a giant flop. I am getting up a little bit earlier, but 6 a.m. is just it's not a good time for me. I'm not a morning person. I'm an absolute night owl. So it's really always been a struggle. So I'm waking up about 6:30, 6:45. So I work from home these days from 7 to 3. So prior to this, I would get out of bed about 6:57 and just walk across the hallway into my office. So now I'm at least getting up with a little bit of time to take the dogs out and make myself a cup of coffee before I have to log in. So I've realized just this week that that's going to have to be something that I just have to be a little gentle with myself and be patient. That yes, I am seeing a small improvement, and small steps are where we need to go. Sometimes you've just got to take those little baby steps. And that's where I am with this morning routine thing, is just taking tiny little baby steps. And then maybe every week I'll get up 5 minutes earlier. So I'm going to keep working with that. But in trying to figure out why don't I love myself enough to really take care of myself, of my physical health? I've been getting a lot better at taking care of my mental and emotional health, but when it comes to, cooking or exercising, I struggle to get into routines. And I have for exercise, I've never had an exercise routine. I've always just been kind of like, I haven't found something that I really, really enjoy, I think, is part of the problem. So I'm going to experiment with different things. Like, I used to take belly dance lessons, which I really loved. So I'm going to try doing that again, find some videos, because obviously I'm not going to go to any kind of classes in a pandemic. Hannah, thank you for making me nervous about all your stories that you share, but better safe than sorry, right? So things like that, of trying to do belly dance again and see if I still enjoy it, and finding different ways of, moving my body. It doesn't just have to be get on the treadmill or walk a mile or 2 or 5, or, the typical stuff. There's so many things that you can do to get moving and get your body moving. And then in thinking about why is this, I've had some realizations, and I talked about this a little bit in my last video. If you have already seen that, sorry for the little bit of repeat, but it's just relatively new. So if you haven't had a chance to see that video yet, one thing that I've realized is I think this is really, at least in large part, coming from the way I was brought up. I've never thought about looking for limiting beliefs from my family growing up because I had a really good childhood. My parents loved me. I loved them. We had a really good family. It was just the three of us. And I say just the three of us. If you don't know, I'm adopted. So Hannah's my half sister, and we just found each other a couple years ago. So that's where all that little craziness comes in. But growing up, it was just me and my parents, and it was really good. And I never thought that I might have some limiting beliefs from that. But I just recently, just a couple of days ago, really realized that, yeah, I think I do, because my mom always put me and my dad first. She always thought of us and did for us before she would even consider doing anything for herself, to the point where she'd be like, oh, there's a hole in my shoes. That's fine. I don't need new shoes. And it wasn't that we couldn't afford for her to buy a new pair of shoes. She just generally didn't think of herself like that. And I think I really kind of took that into myself subconsciously, because I will bend over backwards and do whatever I can for the people in my life that I care about. But when it comes to myself, no, I will bend over backwards right into my bed and take a nap. So I've kind of been starting to do some shadow work around that and trying to reframe that limiting belief and create a new belief of, no, I do love myself, and I put myself as important. I make myself important, not just everybody else. Even as far as I put myself ahead of other people, and that's uncomfortable to even say, because that just seems so counter to what I've always done and how I've always been. Hang on, I've got to block a user. Removing some comments here. Well, I guess it's officially my first live by having how do I get rid of this? Sorry, guys, I'm trying to figure out how to block people on here. Well, that was fun. Okay. I just totally lost my train of thought, so I don't know if any of you saw that comment before I got it deleted, but hopefully I've got that person blocked now. Let me just double check, because I've never had to do that. Cool, you can report people. All right, so I got that figured out. Let's see. So some of the things that I talked about this month was, creating a self-love toolkit and ways to show yourself, do self-love and self-care, and, decluttering. So does anybody want to share things that they do? What do you do to take care of yourself, and how do you have a self-love practice? My 30-day. Good job. All right. So my 30-day challenges is part of trying to build a self-love practice for myself, because I know things like going to bed at a decent hour so that I get a full 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night is actually self-care for me, and getting up with my alarm so that I don't have to rush and already be frazzled before I even log into work. That's self-love. It seems just like really practical things, but it is absolutely self-love. Brienne says, "Oh yes, that's me. I need to declutter." Yeah, I kind of live by the motto of a place for everything and everything in its place. That doesn't mean I'm an absolute like spick and span total clean freak, but I can pretty much find anything that I need to find. Even in the few areas that I have like piles of stuff, I still know what's in that pile and I can still find anything that I need. I've been starting to learn a little bit about astrology, and I think that's my Virgo moon, like stereotypical Virgo in that aspect, as far as my understanding of it goes. And, so that's part of trying to build a self-love practice. Just little things. It doesn't have to be anything really, you know, it doesn't have to cost anything. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be taking an evening and just having a hot bubble bath. But it's also things like drinking enough water and getting enough sleep and eating nourishing foods. And Brianna, yes, I can live with dust. Oh, let's not even talk about dusting. I don't dust nearly as often as I probably could, but yeah, I think everybody knows how dust goes. You dust something and 5 minutes later it's covered again. And vacuuming. I've got dogs, and Tiberius has. Okay, that's it. Virgo sun, Taurus moon. I'm just the opposite. I'm Taurus sun, Virgo moon. And I have to look everything else up. I'm grabbing my little Astro chart here. My rising ascendant is in Leo. So I don't know much of what that means, but I'll learn. Oh, my purple. I had a colored hair gel. I wish I could dye my hair purple. I really do, but I work in finance, and if we have to go back to the office at some point, purple hair would not be. No. Would not go well. Hannah always buys a Swiffer and never uses it. Yeah, I have a Swiffer wet jet for the floors in my kitchen and bathrooms, and it doesn't get used as much as I'd like to, sadly. See, I'm losing my train of thought again. Sorry, guys. Like I said, first time doing a live, so I'll get the hang of it. Do you have anything you want to share about anything else that you do for self-love and self-care? Like I said, I clean. Decluttering is definitely something that it's very helpful. I can tell that's something that I know is, when do I need to pay a little more attention to my own well-being is when my house starts getting cluttered. My kitchen will usually be the first place, especially now that my dishwasher is broken and I still need to call and get them to fix that. I live in an apartment, so I just have to call. But I've had meetings and stuff at work. So without a dishwasher, dishes tend to pile up, though I'm pretty much staying on top of it. I'm pretty proud of myself for that. What else? Cooking is another area that I struggle with. And I work with, I don't know if you guys know, some of you might be familiar with Kellyanne Maddox. And I've been working with her as a spiritual counselor for a few months, and really, really rocks my world. Brienne, to journal, and a grateful journal helps me. Yeah, journaling definitely helps. It just really helps me personally to get my thoughts out of my head and in some logical form. Because if I just think about things, it's just going to like swirl around and ping, ping, ping between 5 dozen different topics. Hannah recently started making different appointments like dentist, eye checks, for skincare checks, still struggling to follow through on therapy. I started on Talkspace. Yeah, keep up with that, sis. And to sink into journaling. Yes. So, cooking. I think the comments are coming in with the delay between what I'm saying and how it's showing up on YouTube. But Kellyanne kind of helped me realize that I need to ease my way back into the kitchen because several years ago I fell into a really, really deep depression. I've talked about it a little bit here. And I just, when you're depressed, you're not going to cook. You're going to just throw something in the microwave or eat a sandwich or, something really simple and easy that requires no work. And once I kind of came out of that depression, I think that not cooking for myself habit just stuck. And that's some other things from childhood too, of my mom never really enjoyed cooking. She'd always cook for us, but even to this day, she's pretty vocal about how much she hates cooking. So I've definitely adopted that I hate to cook mindset. So I'm trying to do some work around that of, well, do I really though? Because if I have somebody to cook for, I actually really enjoy cooking. It's just when I'm doing it for myself. And I think it's that, well, why bother spending the time on myself? Well, because I should love myself and want to eat healthy foods so that I can have energy and feel good, maybe. So definitely work that I'm doing. But she said just start with something simple, start with something small. It doesn't even have to be cooking a healthy meal, it can be learning how to make cocktails or baking. I used to love baking, and that's definitely something that when you live alone, especially during a pandemic, what do you do with all of it? So I thought maybe I can bake and then, eat a little bit of it myself or maybe even not eat it, and just take the rest of it down to the office at my apartment complex. I'm sure they'd love to have somebody be nice to them because they probably get a lot of grouchy tenants complaining about things. Self-acceptance that matters if you don't want to cook. Yes, exactly. But I know my diet right now is not great. And I don't have a lot of energy. And I know that a big part of that is because of my diet and my lack of exercise. So for me, that's definitely something that and I'm not saying I'm going to cook myself elaborate meals every night. Far from it. My goal is to get to a point where I'm doing food prep once or twice a week and preparing 3 or 4 days worth of food so that I can just take it out of the freezer and pop it in the microwave after work and dinner's ready. A healthy home cooked meal is ready. But, I got an Instant Pot for Christmas. I finally took it out of the box. I rearranged everything in my kitchen. I made the counters more accessible, more useful, and just trying to make little things to make the kitchen a place that I want to be. So I've decided that this weekend I'm going to use that Instant Pot and try and cook myself some chicken tikka masala. I've been having a mad craving for Indian lately, so I'm going to cook that for myself. And if I get really ambitious, I might try my hand at a Victorian era chocolate pudding that I've been eyeing a recipe on YouTube for a while. So I'm just going to, do it. Just cook for myself and have a nice meal and sit down at the table and eat it rather than just taking it up here to my desk and eating while I watch YouTube. So, um, So I think that's kind of most of what I wanted to talk about tonight. So, does anyone else have anything they want to add? Any self-care tips? I love to cook and listen to music together. Yeah, music. Audiobooks is another good one for me. I really enjoy audiobooks, but definitely cooking and music is definitely a good time. Yeah. Thanks, sis. Yeah, because I mean, then you're paying attention and that's something else I want to work on is mindful eating and actually tasting my food and, you know, knowing when I'm hungry and when I'm full instead of just mindlessly like stuffing my face and then all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm so full. And, learning when to stop eating. So definitely has been a very eye-opening month. I've learned a lot about myself and it's been really, really useful. And I'm going to be keeping up with that shadow work and realize, exploring where some of the roots of these struggles that I have are. So thank you everybody for coming tonight. I really appreciate you joining me. And until next time, be kind to yourself and those around you and let your light shine for all the world to see. Bye.